Hey everyone, today I decided to move a lot of my blogs to static pages. Like initially they were all hosted on WordPress, but I felt not all of these blogs deserve to have a full-fledged WordPress site running, and I wanted to make them all static. If you want to know the advantages of why certain things have websites are better off being static, you can Google around, and there are a lot of resources on that. So here today, what I really wanted to do was to show, record all the differences that I saw between the two main plugins in WordPress that helps with generating static websites. One is WordPress to static, another is simply static. But before we go into that, I wanted to give a shout out to local WP that's run by WP Engine. So here it helps me create local versions of your site to test before you deploy to your web server. This is a really amazing thing. Probably I'll do another video to show how this actually works. So there is a paid version and there's also a free version that you can run locally on your site, right? So this has been really helpful for me today, so which is why I'm telling you about this. So let's go back to the static, the two static plugins, right? So we have here the WP static generator, which I have installed, and then you have the simply static. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of both? Going straight out of the gate, one of the problems I had is WP Static is no longer hosted with WordPress. You cannot go into the plugins page, say add new, and you will not get WP Static there. You have to go to WP Static's website and download it to your local machine, and then you got to upload it back into the server, into WordPress to do it. So what you might have to do is when you go to add new, when you search for static, the only thing you get is the simply static page. If you really want WP static, you will have to go to WP statics page, go to the download section, and you got to download it locally. And then you'll be able to install it. The other one is simply static, which so you'll have to use the upload function to install from to upload the WP static plugin and then install it, whereas simply static is available right here. But WP static has certain advantages too, so let's have a look at it. So this is one of the usability issues that I found. I'm not able to set this as a thing, but the thing is there are a lot of options for here. So you can upload directly to GitHub pages, Netlify, Amazon S3, or to Dropbox, or you can just download it as a zip file, or just create a directory on the same computer and have it downloaded there. You can also FTP it automatically if you want. So I prefer to have a zip file, so that's what we are going to do. And then you provide the page the URL there where you want to host it. So if you want to run it offline, you can generate all relative URLs when you check this, but we are not going to use it right now. And here is the important thing that you can do. You can this is one interesting thing that WP static does. You can change the names of the directories, because normally any website that is hosted is automatically tested by bots to see if it is WordPress, and then they try to exploit all your weaknesses of the site, and they try to generally if they know it's a WordPress site, then there are too many requests from different bots, and that can hurt your site. So here any indication that it's a WordPress site is removed. So WP content becomes contents and WP content themes becomes theme, uh, which all helps to hide the helps to avoid the trouble with all these bots. The other one is you have diff based deployment, so you don't have to generate the whole site every time, which may take a lot of time. You just generate only the newly created or only those pages which have changed. So this works if you have not changed any other settings since the last export. But for really huge sites, this makes a very big difference. In my case, I have only around 23 posts in my blog, so this is not going to give me a big difference, at least right now. So you have ability to say give additional URLs. WP static downloads all URLs, images and files that are locally linked to from any of the posts. But what if there are some files that are hosted on your site but are not linked to by any of the pages, in which case you can provide those links here, and WP static will ensure those files are also downloaded and saved. So yeah, so these are the main advantages. So let's try. So as we see, the main advantages of WP static is it masks all the WP WordPress like URLs. It gives you diff based deployment, basically only generate the diff of those files, only those files that have changed, only those blog posts that are new or that have been changed, and not the whole site. Very helpful for sites with hundreds of blog posts. And also the the ones where you get to choose which deployment you want to use. You can do your Amazon S3 deployments, or you can deploy to GitHub, Netlify. So most of the common services are all covered for deployment. So these are the advantages with WP static. So let's look into the files. So here each blog post, I use the URL structure of slugs, the slugs for as a URL structure for my blog post. So you see them as folders, and within that you have the index.html where the actual blog content resides. You would see this folder field in every blog post. I go to another one, you again see a field. So this is kind of good and bad, because this feed is for, so WordPress not only gives you RSS feeds for your blog posts, but you can have RSS feeds for your comments, and you can have RSS feeds for specific categories and tags. So WP static covers all these feeds. So here this is a feed for the comments for this particular blog post, right? So this is something that Simply Static does not provide. But on the other hand, when I'm going to have a static site, the comments are not going to be active, and comment feeds are not really important for me. Similarly, I'm not too bothered about feeds for my categories or tags either. So when you go into tag, I have all my tags here. So I'm not very bothered. They don't seem to have their feeds though, but yeah, I'm not very specific about the feeds. But if that is something that is very important to you, then WP to static is a good plugin for your use case. At least in the free version, one of the other problems that I found with WP static is in the free version, at least, when I try to generate again, I need to start giving all the configuration again. So again, I got to select zip file. None of my previous settings are actually remembered. I still need to give my base URL. This is a little painful to be specifying the same settings again and again. I would prefer it to be remembered, and if I want to edit it, I can edit it later. Or I can edit it only when I want to change it. I don't want to enter the same thing over and over. Now let's try Simply Static. So right off the bat, you see the first thing you see is the generate static files button. So where do you specify your uh, uh, settings? You go to Simply Static, there is settings. You set it here one time. So let's, so you can use relative URLs or absolute URLs. So the WP2 static also has these same settings, all these features over there. Let's just say so you have so here the only option is zip archive or local directory. The delivery method, the deployment itself has to be taken care of by you. So WP static, sorry, Simply Static does not do that part for you. You also have other options, like again, if you want to have additional URLs that you want to include which are not linked to by any of these files over here, you can specify it here. Additional folder files and directories. So these are for cases where files are being referenced via Ajax. And then advanced, you can set up basic authentication usernames and passwords. So this is again available in WP static also. So what is not, one of the critical features that is not available here in Simply Static is the automatic uh, diff generation, right? Only generating files that are not available, and deployment to other popular services is not part of the Simply Static's feature set. But the thing is, once you save the changes, they are available there. They are always there. After this, every time you just need to do the generate static files. But as I showed you, Simply Static is available as a plugin in the WordPress plugin repository, which means I can get the updates and everything like really fast, or as and when the author updates it. So I don't have to manually go and check, which is something I'll have to do in the case of WP Static. And that is one of the reasons why I am deciding to go with Simply Static. If I find any deal breaker on the way, if I make any changes, I'll make another post to explain what happened and why there was a change in decision. But for now, I'm going to settle on Simply Static. Right, so it took 58 seconds to generate uh, generate a HTML zip file deployment for a site with around 23 posts, not too heavy on images, but really long posts. Uh, you previously it was like last when I was initially testing, it was taking around like 35 minutes, 35 seconds. WP static also was around in the same ballpark, around 35 seconds. I didn't notice what it said last time around, so now it is in 33 seconds. So neither of them are so too far off in the time that it takes to generate the site. And even in the case of the number of the size of the zip files that are generated, you can see that Simply Static takes around 1.6 MB and WP Static takes around 3.8 MB for site with 23 posts. Neither of them is a deal breaker for me. They both are okay. I don't mind 3.6 MB, but just thought in the interest of sharing data, I would let you know that too. That's it for this short video demonstrating WP Static and Simply Static. If you have any experiences using either of these plugins, if you are trying to decide between these two, do let me know what you are deciding on. Thank you.